in the brick. It's really cool brick, actually.
I want to come look at it up close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I may stop by one day, just
Sure.
randomly.
Yeah, in fact,
Things.
route.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, we'll settle on that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. She's gonna turn this. No, that's okay. I'll just.
Oh, somebody got it. Well, whoever did this, thank you.
Well, welcome, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the planning commission meeting tonight.
Will you bring this microphone forward so you can, yeah. grab your
Sorry about
mic.
that. Can you hear me a little bit better? So, yeah, I just wanted to say welcome tonight and, looking forward to the discussion, on the topic tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started with an invocation or thought from Commissioner Neighbor and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance being led by Commissioner Watson.
I didn't look at the agenda that closely, so I didn't know I had the thought, but I'm willing to share a thought today. So, I guess, just with everything's going on with the world these days, I guess, is it in progress? We good? We good? I guess with what's going on in the world these days, and I work at Weber State University, and Weber State in their strategic plan here recently has chosen to focus in on the military ecosystem. And one of their primary goals is to support and help develop the military ecosystem that exists up at Hill Air Force Base. And it's kind of amazing what's going on up there right now. If you know just a little bit about it, there's probably a generational opportunity going on up at the base. And they have this major project going on that's going to replace the Minuteman missile system. And the university is in the process of establishing a secure facility to help support that ecosystem. So I guess my level of patriotism continues to rise. And I know there's problems in the world and we got things going on that are a little bit crazy right now, but my love of my community, my state, and my nation just continues to rise. So that's probably what I wanted to share tonight. So I'm glad also to be a part of this planning commission also.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it looks like we've got a quorum tonight, but missing a few commissioners. I believe Commissioner Bailey might be here a few minutes late, but Commissioner Green is excused and Commissioner Gardner. He may, we haven't heard from him, but maybe he will sneak in. So let's go ahead and start on the consent agenda with consideration and action to approve the April 2nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review those? And so did anybody have any changes that they would recommend? No? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. The next, are there any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest to disclose? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the legislative items. Because we do have some members of the audience, Bryce, do we have anybody online that's attending?
Lauren's online.
Okay, so Lauren is here. He's just attending.
Hold on. Scott's online too. They're all employees, so let me make them all panelists here. We've got Lauren, Scott, and Ryan.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the public comments. I should say,
Like Lauren-
procedures.
Looks like Lauren has a hand up.
yeah.
I
Lauren.
think that was for a yay vote,
Oh, got it.
if I'm
Um,
not mistaken. I don't mean to
What's that?
speak for Lauren. His hand is up.
Oh. Yeah, Lauren, you're muted. You should be able to unmute and talk. Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I am attending the meeting. I'm on my phone, so if I've got any input, I'll raise my hand again.
Thanks,
Great.
Lauren. So for the public comments during the meeting, time is made available for anyone in the audience to address the commission concerning matters pertaining to city business.
I can't use this one.
You can't hear? Oh, okay. Citizens will be asked to limit their remarks or questions to 5 minutes each. Any materials that are displayed or referenced, such as pictures or written materials, are part of the record and must be left with the commission. Speakers are required to have signed in at the door and will state their name and city that they reside in before beginning their remarks. If you agree with the previous speaker, state your agreement to avoid repetitious remarks. Speakers shall address the commission from the podium or microphone and shall address all comments to the planning commission. At this time, are there any public comments for items that are not on the agenda tonight? There will be an opportunity to address the commission during that item. Okay, thanks. Anybody online, Bryce?
no hands are raised.
All right. So let's go ahead and start with our legislative item. Consideration and action regarding a legislative application to annex property at approximately 1050 East, 2400 North, with a requested zone of R110. And the presenter will be Scott Hess, who is actually joining us remotely tonight. Scott, are you there?
I think he's working on rejoining, so give him just a second.
Okay, great.
All right, I've been able to rejoin the meeting as a panelist. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And thanks for letting us present from Southern Utah as Ryan and I are attending the Utah League of Cities and Towns Conference. Looking forward to that and bringing back any relevant training materials to you. But for tonight, we have an important item to keep on track with the annexation schedule going on with City Council and the legislative body. And that's for consideration and action on this legislative application to annex the property at 1050 East, 2400 North with a requested zone of R110. This is approximately 19.71 acres. It's north of the fish farm, east of Fruitland Drive, and owned by Lyman Barker and family. And this property came in for a discussion and annexation several weeks ago. It's been publicly noticed through Weber County. There isn't a public notice that goes out for the planning commission component, but for the city, when it goes to city council, they will notice that again. So Bryce is showing the proposed corporate limits, the annexation area as proposed. The interesting thing, it's a little bit hard to see on this map, and I might be able to zoom in, is that there is a property, the N&C Johnson Family Trust, that would be left out of this annexation unless that property owner decides to come into the annexation petition area or the city council, requires or brings that in. So while this is annexing a significant just under 20 acres of unincorporated island, it does leave the fish farm and several other property owners that surround the fish farm as unincorporated property. And they, so far, I have not had a lot of interest in coming into the city, as far as I understand. The development as proposed intends to meet the R110 requirements. They're seeking a minor development agreement to construct 2 lots on a private access road that would go north and south down into the Cold Springs fish farm itself. Those would be lots that'll be a little bit undersized, might have some different widths on them and depths, but mostly the fact is that they'd be single family lots that would come off of a private drive. So there's a small development agreement. And the other piece of that is that currently there's an off-premise sign that is directly across the street on the west of Fruitland Drive, across from the 20-foot access road that accesses the fish farm today. And that new primary access for the fish farm will actually come off of the northern access to this subdivision up, north further on Fruitland. So I think that it's appropriate to talk about the signage, that the applicant should either be allowed or encouraged to bring that sign up to the north in the public access to the fish farm, or put it to the west in the unincorporated property if that property owner decides or determines that that's appropriate for their property to have that off-premise sign. And then the last component is that, being that this is an annexation in the R110 zone, there's no obligation in the R110 zone to provide open space. However, the general plan has this area indicated as a proposed area of kind of protection or agricultural protection, but we don't have an overlay zone or requirement for that. So in lieu of that, staff's recommendation is to improve access to Oaklawn Park, which this development butts right up against on the eastern, kind of northeastern corner of that property. And we're recommending that, one is that this really conforms to the general plan, but with the proposed conservation area, staff is recommending 2 dedicated asphalt connections to Oaklawn Park. That would be one on the north area, that if you're familiar with the old mountain bike trail that goes around north or Oaklawn Park, would connect to that. And then one on the southern area that would connect to the hillside just below the ball fields on the southern side of Oaklawn Park on the west, as well as an improved trail on Oaklawn Park for residents to access the upper improved section of the park. So that would be an offsite improvement, but would be in lieu of any open space preservation within the R110 subdivision itself. The other recommendations from Planning Commission, and these are pretty standard, is that the property be legally subdivided, improved, or escrowed for improvements prior to the issuance of any building permits. And as I noted, the Coldwater Trout Farm sign be moved north to either the public road, but conforms to our signage standards, and be located as permitted in a development agreement with the North Ogden City Council. With that, this is otherwise a pretty simple one. It's been in our annexation area for several years. It's looking for low density single family. It conforms to our general plan, and the planning staff don't see any objection to this really at all. We just want to make sure that it's meeting the timelines in the process and putting it in front of Planning Commission for a recommendation. And with that, I'll wait for any questions.
Yeah, Scott, I only had one question. I feel like in the past, the annexation and the zoning designation have been 2 separate actions. It's okay just to do that all together here?
They are 2 separate actions. So we are one component of several that happen with this. So the annexation petition happens with our city recorder, and that city recorder then sends out a series of questions, and they need to be responded to from Public Works, Culinary Water, Sewer, the stormwater system, and planning. And our component is to take this to a Planning Commission meeting and look at the general plan. And with the applicant, if the applicant comes in and requests a certain zone, we look at the general plan, we determine if that meets the general plan, and then Planning Commission makes a recommendation. So our action tonight won't be finalizing the annexation. It won't be accepting the subdivision. It's simply applying a zone to the annexation petition as it relates to or conforms to the general plan. So then that will all get packaged along with all of the responses back from each individual Department of Public Works, and be taken to the City Council for the final legislative action that would, if approved, bring this area into the city. And then at a future meeting, the Planning Commission will see a formal subdivision application come forward in this area.
Okay, thank you.
Scott, I have one question. On that trail, I've always felt that was kind of an undeveloped kind of little treasure that's by the park. So is that trail going to be developed as part of this, or maybe just a little bit more information on that trail where there's the picnic tables, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I don't have a strong recommendation there outside of the fact that I think the subdivision as proposed should have a really high quality, simple connection to Oaklawn Park. And that keeps people from having to go through the neighborhood and around 2450 North Street and come south into Oaklawn Park, that in lieu of doing some sort of like micro park or some little pocket park in this development itself, that we just make sure Oaklawn Park access is really good from this development. And we've done that in other areas. Northwood Hills development has an asphalt connection to Oaklawn Park. And I think that's a good kind of middle ground between requiring a single family subdivision to give up land for a park versus maximizing the use of an existing park or maximizing and improving. So whether the trail is improved or not, I don't totally know. That's probably a question and recommendation from Jamie Gill, our Parks and Rec superintendent or Parks and Rec director. But I just want to make sure it's from a staff's component, staff side, that we're making that recommendation. Whether the planning commission decides to make that part of its recommendation to city council or not is up to you all as the land use authority.
I think that's a really good question, Scott. So I'm a little unclear on what you were saying there. Originally, when you were talking about it before the question was asked, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a little like asphalt thing where people walk in or ride their bikes in or something like that. Did you say where people don't have to drive around? Are you thinking of a road that goes into there, or what? I just wanted.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking that I'm looking for the shortest distance from this subdivision to Oaklawn Park.
Got it.
And without a connection between two lots at, somewhere along that proposed, if you look at the proposed subdivision, and I don't want to choose like which specific lots it has to go between, because I don't want to get too into the weeds, but say somewhere between lots 36 and lots 30, that there should be an access to Oaklawn Park because the property is directly adjacent to Oaklawn.
Got it.
As
So when you
opposed
said
to
drive around, you meant the residents from this location would have to get in their car, drive all the way around to Oaklawn Park.
exactly.
But in this case, they would have access to, if their kids had a ball game or something like that, they could just walk up or ride their bikes up or scooters.
Yep.
And yeah, that
Yep.
sounds awesome. It's a great idea.
And I am thinking of thinking of kids and their shortest distance to local parks and maximizing the use of that park or improving the use of that park, and just keeping people from having to jump in their car to go, what seems like a short distance in a car, but might be a long distance on a walk to get over to a playground.
Yeah, kids from the neighborhood will likely go up to Oaklawn to play ball.
Yep.
If anybody doesn't have more questions, we'd like to hear from the applicant. Oh, Lauren, I'm sorry, Lauren, you had your hand up.
Yes, Scott, I had a couple of questions for you. In your staff report, you mentioned that they will be providing an improved access to the Coldwater Springs Trout Farm Road. What's that going to entail?
Yeah, so if you zoom south, you've got the public road that'll come in from Fruitland Drive, and it's not addressed on here, but it's between lots 10 and 11. And you'll make a right turn to the south and come down through the subdivision, and then the grayed out portion between lots 22 and lots 100 is a 30-foot wide private access road that's adjacent to the unincorporated county and comes down and connects directly to the end of the current 20-foot wide permissible drive aisle that you use to get to the trout farm. So from that 30-foot drive access to get to the trout farm is a short distance. And those residents who operate as kind of like a road owners association, it's not really a homeowners association, but it's an unincorporated area. It's a road that is not improved or snowplowed or managed by the city. This would provide a better access. And those homeowners who currently are I mean, I want to call them impacted, but they're in the unincorporated county and everyone really enjoys the trout farm. And, but those folks who live on that 20-foot drive access lane have significant traffic for the size of the access lane. So this 30-foot connection coming down through the subdivision would be a much better access to the fish farm. And for the property owner, I think they don't want to give up lot 22, 100, 101, and 102, which 100, 101, and 102 would be the access off of the private drive that would be required as part of a development agreement because they kind of are underserved by our code. And that could change. You know, the city council could say, well, we don't want to approve that. We want a public road down through there. And then
Yeah.
they deal with that portion. But as of right now, this is the proposal as it's come in. And
Okay.
and it's a far better improvement than we currently have, but it's not, you know, the greatest permanent improvement that it could be if it's a public street.
Yeah. One thing, I'm looking at the topography in the area, and if I recall, lots 101, 102, 100, they're all lower than all the other lots up there. Just wondering how those are going to be serviced.
I haven't seen that. So I haven't seen a full service set or a full set of plans. And today, what we really asked for, because it's helpful for planning commission and city council to conceptualize an area asked for annexation, is a concept level plan. So this is a plan that has the 60 lots that conform to R110 with road standards that conform to our road standards outside of those 3 lots, 100, 101, and 102. But it isn't a full set of improvement drawings. So I think that those 3 lots would probably flow their sewer south and west out the sewer that currently runs in the 20-foot access lane. But again, I haven't seen an engineered set of plans.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. If we could hear from the applicant, please. Good evening.
My name is Mark Hansen from Far West City. As part of this application, I just want to make sure that we understand tonight we are just proposing the area, right? The conceptual plan, as Scott just said. Is Scott still?
He's still online.
He's still listening. The question I've got is on that access to Oaklawn Park. He's talking just a walking path. I misunderstood that. Not just something in between 2 lots, right? Not for cars or anything else. It's just walking access.
Correct. It's
That's
just
my
walking
understanding.
access. Yep. And I wanted in the staff report, I recommended 2. So one, say between like lots 36 and 35 and one down between lots, whatever, 28 and 29 or 28 and 27, whatever worked best for like a north and south access, to just reduce the walking distance for kids and other people who want to enjoy Oaklawn Park. What the planning commission does with that recommendation, what the city council does with that recommendation is to be seen, but it's not a public road access. It would be a walking path.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll go over that during the development agreement and everything else. I just want to make sure I understood that. The other question I have is I got a call today from Ryan from the city requesting the boundary description in a Word format so she can send out the letters. I just want to make sure that we understand the process ahead of us at this point. We are here in front of the planning commission, hopefully getting this recommended to be annexed, which will then go to the city council. The next meeting with city council will also be the public hearing. Is
I
that?
believe so. Scott, is
Yep.
that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So when you look at the land use state code, the planning commission is the single stop for several types of public hearings, but there's its own state code has its own annexation law. So the public hearing happens with the legislative body at city council. So this is a public meeting, but not a noticed formal public hearing. Typically, planning commission's been willing to accept public comments during this process, but they're not obligated to. And city council would be your formal public hearing. So tonight, really the action is for the planning commission to make a recommendation and apply a zone. And for instance, say you were coming in and you were applying for multifamily residential R4, the planning commission might say, we don't agree with the applicant's application, but based on the general plan, we're willing to recommend R110. But seeing how you came in with a proposal that seems to, from staff standpoint, meet the general plan's requests and requirements, we're recommending approval of that annexation or approval of the zone you've asked for to be applied, and then that will get forwarded to city council.
Thank you for that. So from what I understand, Ryan was going to send out the letters probably tomorrow, it sounds like, for the next meeting. So we'll be on track for that meeting at the end of May with the city council.
Yep.
Yes, is that right?
And that's right. And that's that's kind of the city recorder's process and why we needed to do this meeting tonight and stay on track. Because otherwise we would have bumped you back 3 weeks to
Yeah,
get you
thank
onto
you.
the first planning commission. And she'll send out the notices. So that kind of brings to question whether or not that southwest property, the one unincorporated piece, gets rolled in or not. There's no obligation because you're proposing your own annexation area, but that does leave an unincorporated island down there for them to consider what to do with. But if you can give city recorder the proposed area, the surveyed boundary essentially of what the annexation area is in writing, she's able to roll that into the notice, and then that notice goes out to the residents.
Okay.
But
And we,
the county's already sent a notice out. I've spoken to several property owners who received the county's written notice as well.
okay, got you. That's why I was confused. The county sent out a notice and some people were saying they received that, but then the city will also send out a notice on top of that.
They do. That's again, the state code has its own rules and regulations regarding annexation, and they want everybody to know what the process is and that it's coming into the city.
Okay, we appreciate that. We just want you guys to know this is, again, for the purpose of the meeting, this is merely a conceptual plan.
Understand.
We'll make sure that we conform with all the city ordinances and city codes, and we are very excited about this property. Getting it all into North Ogden City. There will be some of the farm maintained for a while. We're not developing all of it in the beginning, just a portion of it. The current owner would like to continue to farm his property and enjoy the space that he's got, which we love, keep that in farm as long as we can. One of the owners of the properties is here with us, Neil Barker, and he has a question pertaining to the adjacent property. And so if it's okay, I'll have him come up and in
He'll be
regards to
right
the,
after you.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks.
Any
Before
other
you-
questions for
before
us?
you leave, yeah, does anybody else have any
Can
questions?
you comment on that trail where a little bit more what the vision is on that trail where the picnic tables are, et cetera, et cetera?
yeah, I don't have a vision on it.
Okay, I just wondered.
The city's got the vision on that and we're willing to comply.
Okay.
My biggest worry on the trail system, it always comes down to who's going to maintain it. City maintain, and sometimes if we put 6-foot vinyl privacy fencing along a trail for however long, it
Yeah.
becomes kind of an alley hangout way.
Yeah.
So we would, during the development agreement, we would need to work through that and see, but we're all for it. I think it'll help sell the project and
Yeah.
give people access. And that one where I do have up front is we don't know how long it'll be before we develop that side of the property and what will be required there. So yeah, we like the vision the city has of providing access to that, but we're hoping to catch the vision they have.
Okay, good. Good.
Sounds great.
Good. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Barker?
All right, my name's Neil Barker. I'm the owner of Cold Springs Trout Farm, reside in North Ogden, unincorporated Weber County. So I'm open to questions that you have regarding this property. For us, we're actually very excited that 20-foot narrow lane into the trout farm has been trouble for 100 years. And so we've looked for other avenues to get in, and there hasn't been until this development. And so 30 feet is, sounds huge compared to what we've been dealing with, and it will alleviate a ton of problems that we have. Now, we've got that sign down there on Fruitland Drive. Even that's been a problem. We came to the city, 15, 20 years ago and got permission to put that sign there. What we're hoping to see is the removal of that sign and then put up a city-approved sign. The ideal location would be north of the church along Fruitland Drive. There's a little retention pond there, a city-owned retention pond. And we would install it there. That would be the most ideal because it doesn't restrict any field of view for anybody that's driving. Where the existing sign now, there's a mailbox there. It's hard for the mailman. It's hard for the residents getting in and out, but we could put one over there and work out an agreement with the city to keep it maintained and looking good.
That sounds great. Actually, part of this staff report included perhaps a proposed development agreement.
Yeah.
You know, with the North Ogden City Council about where that sign could be placed. So
Yeah.
it sounds like it should work out for everybody.
Yeah, we would love that. And then, future plans, we actually are working on plans to annex the entire farm in, but it's a complicated procedure because it's a farm. And if you take the farm away, you lose what we have there. And we feel like it's an asset and it's valuable to the city, but we have not just fish, but we've got goats and chickens and other outdoor activities that are not typically allowed in the city. So we have had some talks, call them soft talks, but working out an actual ordinance just for the trout farm to allow it to continue to operate. But that will take a while to iron out all those issues.
So my kids have spent a lot of money at that trout farm. I'm not too far away there.
Okay.
They've bought
Thanks
more-
for supporting
Yeah.
us.
The wedding area is kind of unique too, that you've built out
It
there.
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were there not too long ago and you have that pond. The pond, is it
The
a
fly
pond?
fishing pond.
Yeah, yeah. So-
Yeah.
So I guess that's all part of that same development.
Yes,
Process.
all of that would have been,
Yeah.
is to be included
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
this sounds like a very exciting project.
Yeah.
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 Oh, we love the trout farm too.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember riding my bike down there as a kid and it was the place to go cool off, and go over to the twine huts and climb
Oh,
the
yeah.
twine huts and jump
Oh.
around and.
Yeah, you do know the
and-
area.
And what can we do to help you?
Yeah.
Like I love the idea of the sign and moving
Mhm.
it down. It'll be so much easier to see. It'll be so much better. Can we, are there things you'd like to see on the sign because of the multiple venues? I know
No.
John's even trying to do some stuff across the street. I mean, what can we do
We
to
would
help you?
love any suggestion that you have. I mean, we are working on ideas for the sign, but I don't want to come up with a sign that wouldn't be acceptable to the city. So we're
Yeah.
really open to whatever. We are trying to advertise the farm more as a resort.
Yeah.
Because it does have multiple activities that would draw people in. And so, yeah, Cold Springs Trout Farm Resort or Cold Springs Resort. But our big draws are the weddings, the fishing,
Mhm.
and then in the fall we do the maize,
Yeah.
which should probably be more of a year round, well, at least summertime activity
Sure.
rather than
The
just
idea
fall.
on Sun House that you had there, that you were selling plants, did that kind of fall apart? then a little
Yeah,
bit?
it's tough to sell plants.
I would imagine, especially
So-
the access of that.
Mhm. Yeah, so we've shut that down.
So you want to continue to farm
Yes.
some of it for a period of time, Lyman does.
Yeah, we'd like to
now as
maybe
well.
even do a little bit more with gardening as far as outdoor gardening like pumpkins.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, John's been doing a lot of
and
pumpkins.
a U-pick type thing.
Yep.
We're actually starting to plant more fruit trees and garden vegetables as part of the landscape.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that those that are fishing can just go over and grab some fruit and continue
Mm-hmm.
fishing.
What can we do to help you continue to farm? I mean, it's not an easy thing to do,
It-
and really everybody loves it, and I don't think people appreciate how much work that is and how much work you're extended family for a long time has put into
Yeah.
that. Everyone loves driving through there, looking at it. They appreciate it. They think this is a beautiful part of North Ogden in addition to the mountains. What can we do to make your life easier?
Well, first of all, if we can get permission to allow that 30-foot road, that is huge. We actually do have plans that if this development continues, well, it's built out along the east side, there would be a road that would connect back into the trout farm. So it would have an access, an eastern access, and then this one as well. So it could have an in and out, which would alleviate any problems, especially if there was blockage for any reason with the 30-foot. We would have another that would take it right into the parking lot of the east side of the farm. So allowing this first access, knowing that we are planning even a second access, would greatly help. And then the signage and the signage nowadays doesn't seem quite as important because everybody has GPS on their phones. But if you ask our neighbors, they're going to say signage is huge because they always drive up the driveways and they get
Yeah.
quite annoyed by it. And not just people looking for the trout farm, but
Oh.
Amazon drivers, UPS
Yeah.
drivers, any type of delivery. So signage is huge. If we had little signs, you see for like recreation, a brown sign on the streets, the street pole, signage, that would
Yeah.
help. But yeah, signage and access is
Yeah.
is really the most important. And I think the other things will be ironed out because, like running a trout farm draws in raccoons like you wouldn't believe. And we actually, we do have to exterminate raccoons. And so,
Good.
we use it with, right now we're allowed to shoot shotguns in the city or in the county, but not the city. It's not allowed in the city. Now we actually have a pellet gun too. So there's things that we are allowed to do in county that might be difficult to do in the city. So, but I think those things can be ironed out and we are willing to take whatever measure to keep the neighbors happy.
Yeah. Well,
That's our goal.
I think the signage is important. I mean, you guys are part of a North Ogden brand, and you're part of the legacy that people want to have. They want to have a country feel living around here, and it's a big part of it. And so I think the sign will communicate so many things.
Yeah.
And so I really look forward to a great sign because it's part of the brand of North Ogden.
Yeah.
The trout
whether
farm's a very important thing.
It could be just a solid stone, etched
Yeah.
stone or some type of monument that's easy, low maintenance.
Yeah, I don't
But
personally
I
care
don't
what it
know
is,
either.
but like, I think it's important for many reasons, and you guys are a big part of North Ogden and have been for so long.
Oh, thank you. Any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other public comments tonight on this item? All right, commissioners, any more discussion? Okay, great.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I don't need to be.
I could do it.
No, I'll do it.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll entertain a
Yes.
motion.
I will make a recommendation. The recommendation is that the planning commission recommend approval to the city council for annexation of this property and apply the single-family R110 zone with the following conditions. Condition 1, the subdivision must provide 2 dedicated asphalt connections to Oaklawn Park, as well as an improved trail on Oaklawn Park for residents to access the upper improved section of the park. Item number 2, the property must be legally subdivided, improved, or escrowed for improvements prior to the issuance of any building permits. Third item, the Coldwater Trout Farm sign may be moved north to the new public road but must conform to signage standards and be located as permitted in a development agreement with the North Ogden City Council.
The motion?
I'll second it.
I knew you wanted that.
All right, let's take a vote. So, Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Webb,
Yes.
Commissioner Watson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neighbor,
Yes.
And I vote yes. So that is a unanimous recommendation for approval.
Can
to
I
the
make
city
one
council.
comment on this?
Absolutely.
I just think it's so great that we have local people and local developers who are taking an interest in things that are important to the area that we live. And I just think that's great. You know, things turn out better that way. And so sure appreciate all the work that everyone's doing here to make our community better.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Okay, any other public comments on items not covered already? Okay. Let's move along. Any remarks from planning commissioners? Just want to let you guys know I'm not going to be here the next 3 meetings, but Nissa will be here.
Like going on a great trip.
Great trek across the world here.
That's awesome. Congratulations. We will miss you.
Oh, thanks.
Full Coast Guard boat, rent a sailboat and go around the world.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you later. How about a report from Scott, the Community and Economic Development Director? Any other comments?
Nope, no other comments, and Ryan's on as well if he has any to add. He was able to attend the Utah City Managers Association conference, which precedes the Utah League of Cities and Towns conference. So I don't know if he has any thoughts there, and that was put him on the spot, but otherwise, I don't have anything else.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Nothing to add.
Okay,
Yeah,
great, thank you. And I think John's out of the meeting, right? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to